Maybe Claudia will do some interviewing. Was this my idea?
It was your idea.
Let's do like a cool thing around here.
Yes, so what happened was initially, I think when you did the walls, you did the indentation, and then you came back later and kind of put the gold around it to emphasize it.
Oh,
it was,
right. So this is just a Dremel tool, and so pretty much you finish the wall off, and then I'll Dremel a design, and then if you use the gold sealer, it just sits in the voids and highlights your Dremel work, and you can do any kind of stencil or patch or anything. And then, of course, Claudia APodaca of APodaca Gold, our famous color. And this is the room that APodaca Gold was born in. So back in the day, this was, Claudia and I are always speculating about time, but this was probably 15 years ago.
You know, at least, yes.
16, 17, maybe.
I'm thinking 2006, but I'm not positive.
And if you look at the walls, Cam, you can see, like, I was leaving way more texture. I was leaving more textural, kind of like a colored texture finish. But on this wall, if you look closely, you can see two shades of yellow that I mixed together. So I was doing like a subtle swirl, is what this was. And then this is hand
I was going to ask about the border, yeah.
Hand painted by Reto Mesmer out of Taos, New Mexico. So I get a lot of people asking, can you do one color underneath and another color over the top? So this is a darker red underneath and a lighter red over the top, and I almost forget like what colors we were using. I want to say Sunset Haze. So all of the walls that you're seeing here, 17 years ago plus or whatever, we were doing Fresco Harmony, going right over the orange peel, kind of like nobody's business. See how it's more textural? I'm leaving that like almost base coat on the second coat.
Yeah, I see it now.
You know. These ceilings, so this is all minor sand, and then these ceilings are Westbrook tan. And then we copied the ceiling here going down the hall. And this is also Reto, same artist that did the border. And this is a retablo, correct?
Correct.
Sometimes when you're coming out on a bullnose edge, instead of leaving just a straight line, you can do something decorative. And in this instance, I think I inquired with Susie, the designer on the project, what could we do that would be cool? And she agreed that scallops would be kind of cool. So when I came in to do the hallway, after doing this part, I didn't want to lose the scallops because they were cool. So I masked it off and then just drew. And they didn't have to be perfect. I didn't want them to be perfect. I wanted them to be kind of like undulations, of like this, like sort of, and I think it's really, the scallops are also too conducive in the sort of traditional Spanish, you see scallops everywhere in this type of old artwork. And so we came up to it, but we left the existing plaster. So in this house, this is the only exposed plaster left in the whole house.
That's all that's left from the original.
And that's the original plaster. So in all these areas in the living room, we went over Venetian plaster, regular diamond top, I think it's called, or whatever.
And this is a spot that I love I'm amazed about, because we did that room, you wrapped it around here, I'm thinking in 2008.
Yeah, a long time.
And then it wasn't until probably 5 years later that we decided to do the hall. And so then you did this, and I'm just always impressed with the stability of the color.
Yeah.
It doesn't fade, it doesn't change in any way. This is 5-6 years older than this, and you wouldn't know it. That always amazes me.
It's pretty cool.
That
it's a cool aspect.
It does not change.
Because we have people online saying, "Oh, you can't go over plaster. It won't stick."
Oh, really?
Like mud won't stick to plaster. Oh yeah, people that are supposed to.
Well, this would be the true test, because you've got all of these edges right
this
there.
This is sealed plaster. This is like smooth,
it was
shiny plaster. Endless coved vigas with skylights, 8 skylights. I mean, you can imagine this ceiling was extremely challenging. And then the fireplace was plaster, and then after a period of time, it got beat up a little bit, as fireplaces do. This is called a kiva. This is traditional New Mexican Spanish. Did you say Spanish?
I guess New Mexico.
Type style kiva fireplace. It's designed to draw the smoke up. This was built, and I remember they had to rip out the whole floor and build a foundation.
It's adobe.
Yeah, it's like traditional
Yep.
style
Yep.
kiva. But this was plaster, and then we came in and went over it with the Merriman beige and warm silver swirl, which is a very popular combination.
I love that. I think it's so pretty.
The designer wanted a very rich, in traditional Spanish culture, rich colors are very popular, and so she wanted this like super rich ox blood, and this was created using an oxide pigment, an actual oxide, which we don't use anymore because of the irregularity of the color. It's challenging to duplicate, and it would also be challenging to sell. But a gorgeous, like with oxides, this is all joint compound. You can get just extraordinary colors. So this was Neil's bedroom. Claudia's son had muscular dystrophy, and I think Neil was walking when I first met you guys. I think he was still.
2005. He was.
I think he was still maybe using a cane.
Maybe transitioning a little. Yeah, maybe a walker. I don't know.
So Neil was with us for a long time. I mean, and this room was green. Jordan, Claudia's other son, is the other bedroom that you got photos of the patch. That was where Jordan Sky came from. And I think this was Hauser green or Minkus pine at the time. And
similar to that green.
And this is a fun story, Cam. When I did this room, Claudia was gone, and Jordan wanted green and Neil wanted blue, and I did the rooms backwards. Like, I just wrote them down wrong. And I was like, dude, I was so upset. But I was like, I'll change them. Like, I'll change them back.
I said I'll change them.
And Neil was super cool, and Jordan was super cool, and they were like, no, we like him this way, and they were like cool about it, and so that was super awesome. But it was always a pleasure coming back, and Neil was very religious, but I don't know too much about it. Maybe you can elaborate on like Neil's legacy,
He was very religious. That was the number one thing for him. He did go to college, graduated summa cum laude, but religion was always number one for him. And when his brother moved out, one day I told Neil, it'd be fun to change Jordan's room into a little chapel. You could be in there and you could pray, because he would spend all day praying in the rec room here. He'd turn on the TV and stream various religious programs and prayers and things on YouTube. He was in there all day, but it's more centrally located, that room, so I would be going in and out all the time. The guy who cleans the aquarium, the guy who cleans the fish tank. We're just always in and out. So I told him one day, what if we made your brother's room into a chapel for you? It's at the end of the house. Be nice and quiet for you. So he said, yeah, that's great, let's do it. And I the time that I brought it up, we were in the middle of some sort of, I don't know what, we were in the middle of chaos. And I said, let's get past this. Live. And then live. And I said, then we'll call Susie and have her get started on it. But then Neil ended up passing away before that. So.
And that was almost a year?
It's been a year, yeah. It's been a little over a year. So we thought, well, to honor him, we'll just, rather than doing a chapel in there, we'll just do it in here, in his room. And we tried to pick out saints that meant something to him. This painting is taken from a chapel. He would if he wasn't praying a prayer. He would always have the TV on to this live stream in Poland that had this. It was actually a statue, and it's really an impressive piece of work. She's probably 10 feet high, and it's three-dimensional. It's attached to a wall, but her arms are coming out. It's very beautiful. So he always had that on in the rec room there. So when we were trying to decide on paintings, that just hit me instantly that we had to do that. And then he liked this too. It's a Divine Mercy, and that was a big one for him as well.
And
so
these were both Retto.
Yeah,
sorry.
Retto.
These were both Retto Mesmer original paintings.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said the same woodworker that built this. And is there a name for this piece
it's
of
called
furniture?
an altar screen.
An altar screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they tried to duplicate an altar screen like in an old Taoist church. It's a very traditional thing. Then you have the saints and the little pictures there.
Painting technique. So there's tin, and there's the painting technique is also used with pigments, natural pigments, and water.
It's all natural
pigments. So that's special.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of this painting was done in the traditional fashion. That's about as good as they can go.
The person who built the pews built the altar screen, and then the artist came in and did the paintings.
Okay.
So there was a woodworker, and then the artist. Oh, so Jordan, my son, he's a skateboarder. He's had a YouTube channel since probably 12.
What's his YouTube
14.
channel? He's pretty popular, right?
He does pretty well.
Okay.
But he would kill me if I said it.
Really?
Yes.
This is all like viral stuff.
I know.
Okay, whatever. Just say it.
Melvin the nerd.
We'll do it in post. He'll never see it. He'll be like, why am I getting all this uptick in my
Melvin the nerd, yeah.
Melvin the nerd.
So he started out when he was about 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Doing instructional videos for skateboarding.
Okay.
And he's evolved over the years, and now there's, he does do the skateboarding, but also gaming.
Okay, gaming stuff.
Yeah.
They do gaming like tours where they show and talk
and
do narration.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So
it's totally weird.
It's beyond my...
It's beyond me.
I don't like that. But anyway, my point is he ordered this skateboard for Neil. I don't know who the person is, Jamie Thomas.
Okay.
And it's been signed.
Okay.
And so he was going to give it to Neil last year for his birthday. He had bought it in July, but then Neil passed away.
Okay.
And so I said we would hang it in here.
Oh,
so we had put the hook up last night, and we're going to hang it today.
Excellent. That's
above the door. I just wanted it to... I want the room to really reflect Neil.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it will.
Neil would have done this gift.
I had to just stop thinking.
And see, we'll just go back. We'll just go back in editing time.
Thank you.
When you edit video, you go back in time and be like, Claudia, who was the artist?
It was Charlie Carrillo.
Charlie Carrillo.
He is a very famous retablo artist in New Mexico. He really is. I actually had work of his in my house before I'd even met him.
Well, Susie mentioned that Charlie had a say in this too. So I was going to do this elaborate design, but the designer said, no, that's not proper. It's not conducive to Catholicism, different religion, different country, like whatever. I was like, it's just a cool design.
I know, you don't do that with
Claudia was cool. But in Susie's defense, we just did a straight, so regular layered Fresco Harmony minor sand, and then I masked off the cross, which we did in sanded Fresco Harmony, and that's why it has a different textural look and feel to it. And it's also raised, so it has a very subtle relief. But it being the same color, it's almost as if it's like kind of an apparition coming out of the ceiling.
Right. Is it
that
dark
part
or is
is
it not?
cool.
I love that.
So cool. And so Claudia and the designer were gracious enough to allow me to, do something cool in honor of Neil on the ceiling.
I have to tell you, the first time Jordan came in this room, when all we had up was that altar screen and the two paintings. and Jordan came to the house and he's looking at the room and he's looking up at this.
Sure.
He says, Neil would have wanted his bed right under that cross.
Yeah.
I think that all the time now when I look at, because he would have. It would have been a chapel with a bed in it.
Yeah.
That would have been where he slept.
Yeah, he would have dug it. So.
You would
And he
have
does
loved
dig it, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And I like that.